Hi everyone, my name is Ian Adams and today we're going to be doing a tutorial using the native Narrator screen reader in Windows 10 Creator Update. This is for ATHS694. My name is Ian Adams and I am from California State University, Northridge. Alright, let's make sure this moves. Okay, great. Alright, so Narrator is a native screen reader for Windows 10. It was first introduced with the Windows 2000 operating system all those years ago. At first, it was mainly used for light duty and the installation of a more robust dedicated screen reader. Windows 10 currently has the most robust version of Narrator to date, with support for over 10 languages and has various region-specific dialects. Input learning is also new for Windows 10. So if you enable input learning, you can go ahead and use all of the different commands and as you hit the command on the keyboard, it will go ahead and it will tell you through voice what command you have entered, and it will also do the command itself. Next, scan mode was also improved for Edge, the Edge web browser, and Windows 10. So Narrator, getting started. So we would navigate to the settings icon in the Start menu, and it looks like a gear and can be accessed by pressing the Windows key on the keyboard. Then we would navigate to the Ease of Access button on the second row and all the way to the right in the settings menu. Then, by clicking that, we would access the Narrator menu. So to turn on Narrator, we would hit the toggle button to activate Narrator, as well as to turn on the button so it will be activated when the computer is started. So now, Navigator is active and will begin screen reading immediately. Using Narrator. Narrator can be a little tricky for those who are unfamiliar with it. However, there are many keyboard shortcuts that do make things easier. The arrow keys and the tab keys help to move from one item to the next. Caps Lock and another button on the keyboard control most of the features in the screen reader itself. And the full list of 160 commands can be accessed by pressing Caps Lock and F1. So Scan Mode. Scan Mode is the easiest way to use the screen reader. When using Microsoft's Edge web browser, Scan Mode is automatically enabled. You navigate using the arrow keys. To read a complete document or web page from the beginning, you press Caps Lock and the H button. To read a document from the beginning to the current cursor position, so that you would use with the mouse, you'd press the Caps Lock and the right bracket. To read continuously from the current location in a document or web page, you press the Caps Lock and the M button. Scan mode continued. So to move the Narrator cursor and text insertion point to the beginning of a document or web page, you press Caps Lock and another letter, and so on and so forth. So one of the most important ones that I've noticed really help out is Caps Lock in W and Caps Lock in R. Caps Lock in Home and End. Home is more important. So Caps Lock W, Caps Lock R, Caps Lock Home, Caps Lock F1, and Caps Lock M. Those are the 4 or 5 most used, and Caps Lock O. I almost forgot that one. That's a very important one as well. Those are the most used commands that you use when you're using the Narrator screen reader. So reading by page. So this is another way you can do things too, depending on if the document or the page that you're looking at offers this kind of reading method. So Narrator provides ways to read text by page, paragraph, line, word, and character. To read by page, you use Caps Lock, Control, and U. That's the current page. Next page would just be Caps Lock and U, and the previous page would be Caps Lock, Shift, and U. So Shift, when you have it with Shift, it usually goes to the previous page, and Control usually goes to the next page. But in this one, it's a little bit different. So there's a lot of trial and error that does go along with this, and the learning curve, I wouldn't say is very steep, but it can be a little confusing at times. To read by paragraph, you'd use Caps Lock, Control, and I for the current one. The next one would just be Caps Lock and I, and to read the previous paragraph would be Caps Lock, Shift, and I. So best practices, and this is very important. As a best practice, we need to use these text reading commands in scan mode together. For example, we would turn on scan mode and use the up and the down arrow keys to read by paragraph and Caps Lock plus O, or Caps Lock plus Shift and O to read by line. If you want to reread the current line, you press Caps Lock, Control, and O. And to reread the current paragraph, you do caps lock, control, and I. And, and this does happen quite a bit. If an app doesn't support, or an app or a web page doesn't support text reading commands, Narrator will say, not on explorable text. In this case, you can use scan mode to navigate and read the text. However, sometimes it doesn't quite work, and you have to use the tab button or the arrow button to get to a point where you can actually read it. I noticed that when I was first using Narrator, that happened a lot to me. And now that I'm a little bit more well-versed in using this program, by no means am I an expert, but I know that this one it's getting a lot easier. It's becoming more and more easy with time. The other thing, too, is that once somebody gets set up with a screen reader, they generally tend to stick with it for quite some time. They like to use a screen reader that they're comfortable with, or that they're familiar with, because there's quite a few commands that have to get memorized and different ways that it works. And once somebody invests a lot of time into learning how to use a screen reader, it can be very tedious and time consuming to relearn those things to use a different one. So that would be the end of my tutorial for this using Navigator in the Windows Creators Update for Windows 10. Now I am going to begin an audio list tutorial of how to use Windows Creator. Windows Windows Narrator. Sorry, guys. So just bear with me. At this point, I'm going to turn off my audio and use the audio from the computer. So there will be no audio at this point. Narrator is now on. Thank you, and have a great rest of your day.